What do you think of Charlo's precondition to a fight?
I think it's just funny. I've never heard, put that type of condition on anybody. I feel like if you take all the tests and all the precautions, I think you should be good, vaccination and no vaccination. So I think he's just a little bit nervous now. But if he wants me to get vaccinated in order to fight him, I'll more than likely go get vaccinated. I want to make that fight happen. I still got to fight on March 13th, but I'm going to take care of my job on March 13th. And, if he wants me to go get vaccinated to fight Charlo, then I'm all willing to do it.
David Benavidez responds to Charlo's Instagram video where he says, anybody that fights me must get vaccinated. And he called out everybody. Stay tuned to this video. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Smash the like button. Y'all know what it is. David Benavidez appeared on Max Kellerman's ESPN show, Max on Boxing. And David Benavidez, quote, says he is extremely open to fighting Jermall Charlo. Now, we want to talk about that. Charlo is at 160. Benavidez is currently at 168. This is a great fight. Max Kellerman was saying what we already know is stylistically, it'll be kind of bombs away. And David Benavidez, I'm really feeling, the maturity in his career. He called out Charlo and said, I would love to fight Charlo. As far as the vaccination, you guys heard the clip at the beginning. He did say, it was a bit odd. He hadn't really heard of that. And he says, if that's what it takes to get the fight over the line, then I'll get vaccinated because I want that fight. Perfect response by Mr. Benavidez. He stated his claim. He's made it be clear. And in addition to that, he's not finicky. So he said, I'll get vaccinated. Ego Stradamus strikes again. Man, I must be good at my job. So I made videos about it. A lot of people got mad. They said Charlo was ducking. And, I stated my opinion. How is someone ducking when David Benavidez has his own fight? And a lot of people were using this whole statement with the vaccination. First of all, I don't even know if Jermall Charlo was being condescending or just trying to, give Benavidez a hard time, saying I'm not going to fight anyone younger than 25 and I'm not going to fight unless he gets whoever gets the vaccination and stuff. A lot of people took that really literal. But if you know Charlo, if you've watched him, he's kind of has a sharp tongue. Like earlier in that same Instagram, he said Benny Hanna's got all the black people, all the black folk, they got us parked in the back, sitting in the back like we Rosa Parks. So, he might have just been in the mood. I don't know if he was serious. He was kind of laughing. So I didn't really take it serious. But I did say, Ego Stradamus strikes again. I did say that a lot of people were saying that Charlo was ducking as a result. And I said that Team Benavidez hadn't declared that they refuse to participate in a vaccination. You see what I'm saying? And as soon as David Benavidez does his first interview that I've seen responding to this Jermall Charlo claim, guess what? He told you. You guys heard it at the beginning. He said, yeah, I'll get vaccinated if that's what gets the fight over the line. I want the fight. It's a good fight. Max Kellerman sounded like he agreed. Boom. So we'll see what happens. Love it. David Benavidez, he's a beast. Now, I know a lot of the Charlo haters, they were happy. They're like, yeah, okay, he responded. But the thing that makes David Benavidez such a beast is if you listen to the whole interview, it didn't stop with Charlo. He called out everybody, or he was questioned about everybody, and he said, sign me up. So we know he wants to fight Caleb Plant. So that goes without saying. To have kind of a history in bad blood, said some things to each other in the press. He called out Charlo and says, I'm extremely open to the Charlo fight, and I'm even down to get the vaccination, as I just told you guys earlier in this video. Then ESPN's Max Kellerman asked about a ESPN fighter, Edgar Berlanga, saying he hasn't made it out of the first round. He's all knockouts. And what do you think of that? You guys heard it. He said, Edgar Berlanga, let me know when he's ready. I'm down for that whenever. He said, we're the same age. We're in the same weight class. Just let me know when he's ready. I'll fight Berlanga because I think I'll beat him. So this man, David Benavidez, looks like he has a hit list, if you will. And then Max Kellerman asked him about Canelo Alvarez, and it was more of the same. He says he is open to fight Canelo. He just needs the opportunity. He listed the reason he feels he can beat Canelo. He says, I'm younger. He believes I'm fat. He said, I'm faster, I'm stronger, and I possess something different internally, and I just know I'll beat him. I'll beat Canelo. So sign me up. I just need to get the opportunity. So, man, much respect to David Benavidez. Respetos. The man is fully loaded. The man is fully loaded. He's not playing no games. He's very clear, very straightforward, very no nonsense. And that's a hell of a hit list. If he gets any of those fights, I'll be happy. Berlanga, that'll be a crazy fight. He says that he didn't think Berlanga was ready though, at this point. And there was a rumor, I don't know if it's true or whatnot, because I seen the response came from Berlanga's side and he retweeted and stuff. But they were saying that David Benavidez, people reached out to Berlanga about probing about the fight, and David Benavidez people asked about it, and allegedly, according to them, Berlanga's people said that he wasn't ready for it, but they did call out Caleb Plant. So, David Benavidez is a monster. It's going to be like Caleb Plant. That's my dude. But I can see why Berlanga would favor Caleb Plant. Because, Caleb Plant just went in there with Caleb Truex, and I thought he put on a sharp performance. He looked good, did his thing, won all the rounds. But there was no knockdowns or anything like that. So Caleb Plant is a very crafty fighter. You might have to cut off the ring and, you're going to have to do some things right. But I feel like with the David Benavidez, with his size, with his power, with his confidence and his hand speed, he's a different problem. You can't really make mistakes like Caleb Plant based on probably having less power than some of the bigger punchers like Berlanga and David Benavidez. I feel like if you're fighting David Benavidez, you can't really make mistakes because he's kind of like a sports car. Once he gets in that mode and starts gaining speed, it's hard to keep up with that. Hand speed is incredible. I mean, I'm always going to say this when I watch David Benavidez. I always think of the David Benavidez fight with Porky Medina because he did some E Honda 100 hand slap, crazy combination, and blasted Porky's face off with 9-10 punches in a row. It looked crazy. It looked like some Super Saiyan stuff, and that's what always comes to mind. But the thing I like about David Benavidez's style is the way he looks on his pads, and when he's hitting the heavy bag, that actually shows up in the actual fight. There's a lot of guys who they do pad work, and when they get in the ring, you don't really see that. Even I hate to say it, but even like an Adrian Broner, sometimes Adrian Broner on the pads, on the mitt, he's throwing punches and sets. But then in some of his fights, he hasn't always let his hands go and threw that volume of punches or looked that defensively sound, in spots and stuff like that. David Benavidez, what you see is what you get. What he does on the heavy bag and stuff like that, he was treating Angulo, his last opponent, he was treating him like a heavy bag. So, I know some people are going to jump to this video because they seen that it was a response to Charlo, but just know, the man David Benavidez, he called out everybody, and you got to respect that. This wasn't just Charlo that was discussed. Charlo, Caleb Plant's been called out. He says he wants to fight Canelo. He knows he could beat him, and Edgar Berlanga. So the man is on a mission. I really hope, for boxing's sake, we get David Benavidez a big fight. It needs to happen. He's looking like the goods. He's talking like he's ready. And it's going to be up to somebody to step up and, you know, take that opportunity and show him. Like he said he wants to fight Canelo. He feels he can beat him. So it's up to Canelo to prove that wrong. You know, and the thing is, the Canelo fight is the biggest fight. You know, everyone wants to fight at Canelo, but I also think it would be you have two Spanish speaking fighters, and he speaks English, and Canelo speaks some English, right? And Canelo says he wants to fight on the quote unquote Mexican dates, Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Day. I just think that's a big fight, and it would be for belts. And I really don't like how David Benavidez lost his last belt. You know, I understand there was a miscalculation with his weight, but it was real chintzy because, like, you know, it was the pandemic. They didn't have a sauna in the bubble. It was like one of the first Showtime fights, you know, and he made a mistake and then he loses it. And then Canelo comes and all of a sudden wants to fight for that belt. But we never seen this energy when David Benavidez had the belt twice. Canelo was fighting Kovalevs and, you know, talking to Derevyanchenko and that stuff like that. We didn't see this like big interest in Canelo fighting David Benavidez. And funny enough, this could be Canelo's Canelo. What I mean is, when Mayweather fought Canelo, he was about 36, 37, and Canelo was the young stud that was looking impressive and looking super dangerous and things like that, and he was 23. Now you have Benavidez, who I believe is 24, and Canelo's not even as old as Mayweather was when he fought Canelo. He's only 30. So he's still the veteran, still the experienced guy. But as I said before, he responded to Charlo. That's a great fight. The thing with the Charlo fight, though, is he's not in the weight class. So I don't know what his team and what they have planned. Canelo says he wants to fight at 168 and allegedly get all the straps. So we don't know if Jermall Charlo wants to stay at 160. You know, if he wants to move and he's ready to move right now, it's an excellent fight. But we have to wait and see. You know, I would pay top dollar for David Benavidez versus Jermall Charlo right now. It's just a decision. If you want to move up, especially and not acclimate, you know, David Benavidez is a dangerous guy for anybody in the current weight. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Caleb Plant, I've been wanting to see the David Benavidez Plant fight. Berlanga, I think it's premature. You know, based on the styles, it would be a good fight because Berlanga, at the very least, even if he lacks experience, the type of power he's supposed to have, could be a game changer. You know, they both are confident, like Benavidez said, same age. And then Canelo's the money fight where David Benavidez's level of respect will grow immensely if he fights that. So, you know, hopefully boxing gets it right, and Benavidez, who is a top talent, who's young and who's on the cusp of, he needs a name like that. Like, he's fought good guys like Angulo, Ron Gavril, Anthony Durrell's probably his biggest name. He fought my dude J. Leon Love, things like that. But I feel like an in prime, you know, Canelo's starting to peak. Charlo, Caleb Plant, Berlanga, you know what I mean? These are the names that catapult Benavidez to the next level. And I do think the good thing too with David Benavidez, there's a lot of fighters who talk and then behind closed doors, you know, they're not sending contracts and they're not really down for the fights that they talk about on Twitter. The great thing going for David Benavidez is when he calls these guys out, I believe him. I don't think he's just loosely calling out people with no intent to fight. And there's a lot of guys in modern boxing that are kind of like that. Like on Twitter, they'll put on the show like, yeah, fight me next, I'll fight you, send a contract. But then they're not really about the business and trying to get that fight done. But David Benavidez, he's a different monster. He's a different animal. I do think all the guys he's calling out, from Charlo to Plant to Canelo to Berlanga, if given the opportunity and the deal made sense and, you know, was a fair deal, he really will fight any of these guys. So much respects to David Benavidez. I'll definitely check his next fight against Ron Ellis, who's currently sparring with Canelo. I'm favoring David Benavidez in that fight, of course. No disrespect to Ellis, but, you know, David Benavidez, he's a monster. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know how I did in this video. Charlo vaccine, non-issue. David Benavidez made that clear. said he wants to fight, made that clear, and then he called out the other guys. Let me know how I did. Again, drop your thoughts in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, son. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.